Happy Sunday, everybody. This is Scott Grossberg, author of The Most Magical Secret, 4 Weeks to an Ecstatic Life, and I trust that you've already had a magical start to today. I'm sitting here in my office rather than normally shooting outside because I want to get incredibly practical with you today. In this book, I am constantly harping on you. I'll use the word harp. I'm constantly harping on you, begging you, pleading you, prodding you to write things down. And I know a lot of you are going through the book, you're reading it, and then you're just letting it sit here in your head and you're not writing things down. And so today I want to talk to you about why I've been so focused on having you get things down in writing. What if I could get you, show you, provide you a tool that will make you more creative, allow you to dream bigger, and actually get more work done? That's what I thought. Writing things down actually does that. I don't know how else to say this, rather bluntly. If you will take the time to systematically, consistently write things down the way I'm going to show you to do, it's going to change your life. It changed my life, and so I want to pass that on to you. Part of this is built around the concept that Albert Einstein once quoted. Let me read the quote to you. Paper is to write things down that we need to remember. Our brains are used to think. That's why I want you to write the things down. When you actually put pen to paper, it does what I call a brain dump. As a matter of fact, if you look at the journal that I keep, and I'm going to go through this with you in a minute and show you what I do, one of the things that I have on here is just called a brain dump, and that allows you to get out what's going on in your head. And because you are now emptied, it provides for an even bigger way, a more expansive way for you to think. There's some people who've said that the human mind, all of us, can only process things mentally 3 at a time. After that, you need a pen and paper. If that's true, then writing things down allows you to handle much more. What you're doing right now is you're keeping things in your head instead of writing in your journal. And so you get tied up. The thoughts keep going over and over again, and you ruminate on them, and you keep trying in vain to remember what it was you were trying in vain to remember. And so it becomes a vicious cycle. And so what I have found is that by actually taking pen to paper, you're memorializing what you've got in your head, what you're creating, what you're imagining, what you want to remember, and you're getting it down where you don't have to worry about it anymore. You can go back through the pages and revisit them and do what you need to do. Additionally, by writing things down, I find that it allows me to track my progress better. Essentially, this journal is a way for me to keep myself accountable for what it is that I want to do. And that kind of brings us to an overall plan, which I think all of us as magicians want. It's you management. Y-O-U, you management. You can manage your thoughts rather than letting your thoughts manage you. And that's a big liberating concept that once you start actually writing things down, it's unbelievable what it allows you to do. Now, this is the journal that I use. It's a moleskin journal. Some of you pronounce it moleskine, but I think it's moleskin. I've got my pens that I carry with me. I've got the bigger and it's unlined journal, and I keep everything in here. Now, you can see as I flip through the pages, I do a lot of what's called mind mapping, and I invite you, by the way, to go through and take a look at any of Da Vinci's journals. He fills up the pages with his thoughts, his ideas. And so every single thing that I have on these pages is what's going through my head at the time. And it allows me to go back and revisit and then expand upon on that same page anything and everything. And I got to tell you that when you write things down, you're going to go back even days later and you're going to see things that you've written down that you forgot you wrote about. If you had just kept them in your head, they'd be gone forever. Or alternatively, you're going to have focused solely on them, those three things. You're going to have focused on them over and over and over again, and you haven't left yourself room to think bigger, to think grander, to think in amazing, wonderful, magical ways. Now, one thing that you might see on these pages is I don't journal the way I think a lot of you think about it. This isn't a diary. I'm not Dear Diary and then I'm writing in a very linear or chronological fashion. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just brain dumping. I'm putting everything on a page and I don't go to another or new page until I'm actually done filling up that page. So my goal is to go through this and fill this up, just to get everything out of my head all at one time. Again, I invite you to go take a look at Leonardo da Vinci's style of keeping journals. He does a lot of pictures, a lot of images. Do that if you're artistically inclined. There are times when I draw in my journal as well. And quite frankly, once you start doing a picture method of tracking your thoughts or this brain dump, you're going to find it's easier to remember and easier to recall. And a lot of emotions come out as well when you start doing images or pictures. If you'd like, cut out pictures from magazines and paste them in here. Whatever works for you. Now, I'm known as a technology guy. I wrote 2 best-selling books on the iPad and iPhone and the iOS operating system. You've got to be saying, but Scott, why don't you just use your iPhone or your iPad or your computer? It's not the same thing. It's a very visceral thing. I want you to write out by hand what's going on in your head at any given time. And that's the incredibly potent component to this, is to sit down and write this out. It will make it very personal. It will make it very powerful. And you're going to see that you're going to start remembering a whole lot more. Now, I'm asking you then to commit to me a few things today. Number 1, I want you to commit to go out and get a journal. It doesn't have to be a moleskin. Get whatever journal works for you, whatever journal calls to you, whatever cover seems to be crying out, pick me, pick me. Go ahead and choose that. At the very least, take my book and start writing out ideas and thoughts on the pages as you're going through it. There are a lot of questions that I'm asking in here. Write in the book. I'm inviting you. I'm telling you it's okay. Write in the book. And then I want you to start making this a habit, consistently and systematically write things out. Can you do that for me today? Let me know how this works for you, and I want you to go out now and make it a magical day.